Joyquilts. We're going to be quilting an all-over design on this quilt. It's called Bellflower. It's a very busy pattern, so we've decided to just go edge to edge rather than try and incorporate different borders. They wouldn't be seen anyway. First thing we're going to do is set our safe area. So we're going to bring up the Q-matic program. Eventually. Okay. Safe area, if you remember, is the upper left and the lower right of the design area so that your machine knows where it can safely sew. If your belts pop off during this process, you have to start over again because this is how the machine counts its steps and knows exactly where it is. It can happen. There, I set the safe area. At this point, it looks like the quilt is a little bit low, so this is when you would go around and move it up to a position that you know is going to be in the safe area. Okay, so now we're going to open the project. Call it anything you like. This one, I just call 12RBP because I know that's the latest thing I was working on. So there's the whole quilt. We started this one yesterday, so the first 3 rows are done. We're going to be working on the rest of the quilt today. The way this was done with the Bellflower is we programmed the row and then took every second row and turned it upside down and backwards. So you disconnect your design, do your modifications, reconnect it, and send it to the machine to quilt. So it's going to tell me right now that I need to pick a point to start at. So here's how we do that. 1 to 1 makes it bigger so that you can actually see what you're doing. Now we know that the first 3 rows are done. So just to double check, there's row 1, row 2, and row 3. Okay, so we're going to pick a point on row 3 where we know that the machine is going to remember where it was at. So physically I'm going to move the sew head. That probably didn't make a lot of sense anyway. Okay, so we're going to move the sew head over here to this first point down here. Put the needle down to make sure that you've hit the spot. So as you're looking at the machine, you're looking at an angle, and that kind of can put you in the wrong place. And if every row is offset by 1/4 inch, by the time you get to the end, you're going to be way out. So now I've moved the machine to that point. I'm going to snap to the point. Okay, now the machine is ready to go. So what we're going to do is load it. It's going to start on the next row, which is now highlighted in green. Sometimes it'll highlight it in green. Sometimes it'll say that you're out of the area or no cute designs are in the area. Then it's just one more step to do it. We want to start at the start point. The reason you wanted to start at closest point on design would be if you were trying to figure out where in the quilt your row was going to be top and bottom, you can have it just move to that position. It's really quick instead of having to put it in the wrong place and then rip it out, which is really time consuming. So this way it saves you that much time. But usually we go to the start point, or if your thread breaks, you'll want to go to the closest point. So that's a little bit over to the left from where I want to be. Just going to give the quilt a quick tug. And the nice thing with a quilt like this is it's a simple pattern. You put it in, you're not going to do any fancy stitching around embroidery or anything. So it's just a matter of putting the design in and starting it at the right spot, in either the left or the right, depending on where you're starting. And then press quilt, and off it goes. So basically this is going to go for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to just repeat that process all the way down. When we get towards the bottom of the quilt, I will usually stop about 4 rows in, take a measure, because I've allowed a little bit of room for the quilt to shrink, and I'll just measure and make sure that we're right on. If not, then that's the best place to do your adjustment. At that point, you're probably looking at 1/4 inch per row, maybe less. So if there is any adjustment needed, this is the time to do it so that you don't end up with like a 12-inch block and then you've only got 8 inches left at the bottom. That's exaggerating, but it could happen. So that's the way we do that. Joyquilts, joyquilts.com, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. That's it for this one.